Julie here with siriustalesmoon. This is Jupiter day, Jupiter hour. Jupiter is retrograde in the 7th house in Cancer, and the moon is in Jupiter's sign, 6 degrees Sagittarius applying to Mercury. Midheaven is 23 degrees Libra, and is ruled by Venus at 21 degrees Sag. She's applying to square Saturn and Neptune. Now, this is a little bit of an energy reading, and I'm getting an island. And this island is, it can be both in a metaphoric and in a physical sense. I know I've been talking about sexual sovereignty, so I'm getting two types of sexual sovereignty. One, the sexual sovereignty that has to do with what does a person prefer sexually, and one, the sexual sovereignty that has to do with honoring their no. And the island is kind of a metaphorical place where the people go to be who they are. So the people that come with a sexual sovereignty as this is where there is no rape, that's why they're there. They're not trying to have sex with anyone. Whether they would be attracted or not, they're not trying to force themselves on anyone. They're just going there because this is the island where it's not rapey. The people that go there because this is the island where they can be who they are, or they can be gay, or they can be okay. And here I want to emphasize something that is beyond distressing, and this is that for some people, okay, they would also like to extend the LGBTQ and add a P. I think I heard it from Anneke Lucas. It's so dissociating. It's so dissociating because it's so dissociating that I don't even remember if I heard it from Anneke Lucas or not. Like that is okay. And the P stands for pedophile. I go in other videos into the intricacies of how they make people believe that this is a part of okay, but we can imagine the juxtapositions where this metaphorical island is where the people come to for the sexual sovereignty, and that the people that just arrive there not to have sex but to not have sex, and the people that arrive in that same metaphorical island and they want to either be gay or even be pedophile. And so there's something about the frequency where this juxtaposition is causing the people that want to be pedophile or even want to be gay within circumstances where there's trafficking, and it's almost like, how should I say that? It's almost like there is an island where it's not rapey next to them, and then it's almost like they're juxtaposed to people where they go there because it's not rapey. At that time, that person cannot sleep with children. Okay, or something. There's something about this juxtaposition where certain people arrive because everywhere else is trafficky and rapey, so they arrive in that metaphorical island. And that island can be a person. For some, the sentence, a man is not a lonely isle, may resonate. I don't even understand what is the context in that regard. but the people that they arrive to are either pedophiles or gay or both. Pardon me, people that are gay and are not pedophiles. I know that the gay community has worked so hard to not be associated with pedophilia, but now they try to do it again. um, this is because of the cloning project and the ritual abuse. So, I mean the association of pedophilia to LGBTQ, because there is pedophilia. Okay, it may be gay, maybe straight, but it's pedophilia first and foremost, because they need them extortable, um, and and worse things, and those people that are pedophiles, okay, there's something where they're confronted with the reality of trafficking or what they have been entangled up with by having people running to them to not be raped. And it's all metaphorically. It can be in the astral, or it can be in a energy level, or it can be in a physical. Like it's something where, and it's almost like the inner child of the people that don't want to be raped run to have protection from the pedophiles, and the pedophiles, they're just like they don't know what they're not. And the funny thing is, it's not that they want. It's not that they're rapey towards these people. This is why they run to them. It's kind of like what they're kind of like. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm supposed to, as a child here. That person is old, but they're a child. What am I supposed to do with that? And it can be like, um, it can be a very weird juxtaposition, and it's almost like an isle where there is either no mind control or particular type of experiment where it's not rapey, and then everybody goes there, and outside of this, let's say, island or person, the situation, and yet that person is kind of like, but I'm gay, but I'm this, but I'm that, but it's kind of like nobody's coming to have sex with them. It's about running away from the rape that they may have been entangled up with through extortion cults. Um, very very weird situation. Like it's a very weird energy reading. Um, and this creating juxtapositions where, the people that heal from rape. I talked yesterday about picking up the dandelions on my way to the cafe, and those people, they're like trying to charge people for irrigation. It's kind of like, in those circles. And it's unclear if there is like a program running, um, that causes that, or what is going on. But the situation is so funny that the people that run away because the place is not rapey, everywhere around is rapey. So they won't go where it's, and they're even like, okay, it's about like, a pill that one can go to take and go to sleep and not wake up, let's say, just so not to be in those rapey places. And yet where they run to is almost like the core of where those rapey agendas, or and it's almost like the child self of the person that's escaping rape is meeting the person who may even be pedophile, or structurally couldn't not be pedophile, according to their rank in position in society. And that person's like, okay, what am I going to do with that child? Like, no. Okay, this is a child. Do they expect me to take care of? They're like, what do they like? And the child's kind of like, no, they just expect to be where it's not rapey. But the it's almost, if it's almost like, I think I may write a screenplay about this. I haven't written screenplays since I was 20, 20 something. But this is like a screenplay because it's like a movie. So a person is running away from places not rapey. Who do they run to? A person who uh, pedo, and it's their child self, and that person who is pedo is like doesn't know what to do with that child. And oh, I understand why, because this child is not programmed to plant urges in the pedophile man to rape them, and so the interaction between them is normal. And this is maybe that's why I'm seeing that. Okay, oh my gosh, this is like a movie. I need to write a screenplay. This is okay. This person or these people, because it can be one person, it can be a theme that happens in the sky. But these people that run away from rapey stuff, they they just run away so to not be raped, but they connect with their child self next to people that are by and large pedophiles. But because these people are not coming through trafficking cult, or they're not programmed to send urges to this particular person to rape them, or that particular person understands that something is going on and they don't want to be extorted, but the child is not seeking to have sex with them, and the child is here is not children, is adult people that tend to the inner child, or they become the child self. um, and the pedophile is like, they're not pedophile with that particular person, and there's something to do with the programming of where the programming is not active, then they're just not programmed to be the pedophile in that setting. And then there is a cult that try to make this adult person that's connected with their child self and escaping rape. They try to, it's like to put on a face, or it's like a personality cult that tries to make them wear a personality of a child or of an infant, but they refuse to be sexual whatsoever, even as that infant. And that infant is an infant of an occultist. And it's a family that tried to bargain their way into either into the aristocracy, or to sustain a financial crisis, or so it's something that I've been seeing happening for quite a while, but this time it was really, 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 really juxtaposed with Midheaven Spica. Midheaven is next to Spica, but Venus that rules it is squaring Saturn, applying to square Saturn and Neptune, and a Sun to square Neptune. So Lilith is still at the end of Scorpio, trining Neptune. Now it can simply be that something that somebody tried to do to person um, confronted them with that thing, but I think it is more than that. I think that to begin with, there is also for the adult person that may have escaped pedophilia. I think it's kind of like a gnosis where either they're scheduled to learn how to prevent pedophilia because a part of the 2030 agenda is pedophilia, and they're confronted with those people and the importance of the programming and the puppeteering in those situations. But the scene that I was sensing was really funny. As a person escaping to where it's not rapey, and they connect with the child self, and they meet person that is kind of like both. If they're straight, how should I say it? If they're gay, then that person is straight. Straight, then that person could be gay. But the important thing was the pedophile. They could be gay and pedophile, like something like that. Um, or they simply could be like, how should I say that? Can be even like simply not compatible. But what I'm getting here is that the essence of this juxtaposition has to do um, with the fact that that outside of this person that is the pedophile, everything is rapey, and they may have contributed to create that situation. Okay, the pedophile person may have contributed consciously or not to create that situation, but as they as the person that is not the pedophile that was escapes to that person, they're like, then to die or to but they're looking at something like assisted death, and they really really want to live. It's like the more they run away from rape into the place, the isle where it's not rapey, where it's that person, then they really want to live. They don't want to die. They're not suicidal with that person, but they say, okay, it's kind of like if that's a burden, then I'm willing to have assisted death, but they're not going with like the sacrifice or the ritual abuse or the torture and those things that come with the cult, and they still really hold that person accountable. Okay, um, they're kind of like, well, if you don't like me, like if you don't like that situation, then make sure that your religion does not rape, that this spiritual welfare that is rapey towards people stops. And oh, okay. um, uh, I'm recording, please. I'm recording. Thank you. Not now. People are behaving weird today. Beta per se is minimized well today. Oh, I know. I worked with the beta per se. I have Moon Uranus. So, mom not paying attention to the cues. Which usually is not the case. It's like, what's happening? It's not an. Moon Uranus gives us unexpectedness. We got it. Uranus is the unexpected, Moon is mom's. So, I have my Moon next to my mom's Uranus. So we have it in the synastry as well. But because beta per se is minima, so I worked with the beta per se um, talisman. And then that accentuated that Moon Uranus. Uranus can also be like, I'm sorry, electric shock, where in electric shock or in a thunder strike, a person can kind of freeze into their own, which is exactly what happened now. It's kind of like they froze into their intervention pattern. And it's very much, when I talk about something or energy reading, what is happening in the room is depicting of that, because it's the same pattern where the person that is escaping the rapey situations and people, okay, let's say for example, if somebody's with their parents and they're still getting astrally raped next to the mom or next to the dad, and then they escape to a place that's not rapey, then they're stuck in that pattern, not because they want to, but because everywhere outside is rapey. And that's kind of like the thunder strike or the thunderbolt. Um, that is but for there to not be impediment of the freedom, there has to be no rape. People will not be free when there is rape in the world. Freedom is a Sagittarius word. Oh, I think when Lilith will ingress. Thank you. Thank you. I think when Lilith will ingress to Sagittarius, this notion of there will not be freedom until there is no rape is going to be even bigger than in Scorpio. Because Scorpio is the transmutation, the transformation, the war is about, okay? But Sagittarius is kind of like, well, freedom. People want freedom, then they should not be rapey. And this is what is happening with this metaphorical isle. Because everybody is running away to that isle to be free. And to be free for certain people is for there to not have rape. That's to be free. Okay? And others, to be free is to rape children. And but there's something very particular where with that person, even though the personality call tried to get at that person, make them wear an infant energy, or something that happened, like I don't know how these things work, but that pedophile was not attacking the child because he was not programmed to, or he did not have the urges to. And it was kind of showing what happens in the island. It's almost like they need not just okay, the pedophile. They need particularly. I'm talking about extortion cults. I don't know how outside, um, but in extortion cults, they need the cue of kind of like lust magic to be created towards the child to attack a child. It can be the case that they're not pedophiles unless they get both the child and the urge to be sexual with the child. Okay, because these people were tortured since childhood, they are mind controlled to big extent. But even if they get a child without the urge to attack the child, they're not pedophile. Okay, that's what I was shown. Now I don't know if this is true. And for that person that escapes pedophilia, how should I say that? Even if they have attraction, they're not, it's not something that is, how should I say it? They're seeking to be in a place that's not rapey more than they seek to be in sexuality with someone. Or being in a place that's not rapey is an imperative, and then if they're not sexual with this person or that person, they were like, okay, then first that there will not be rape, then with whoever I can be and can be with me, only with willing consent, then of both, then there can be sex, but not any other conditions, even if there is attraction. So it's kind of like both see something to do with that even pedophile would, if the pedophile is pedophile because they were programmed, they will not attack child unless they have the urge that's coming from the handlers of the child. And to do lust magic, because the point of them being a pedophile is not for their sexual pleasure, okay, as per the cult, but so that they will be caught on camera. And this is what I was shown, is how distinct situations come about. And then it's kind of like when they meet a person that they see that they are their child self, they're like, okay, they're a child now. Uh, I'm, like, I'm not a nanny. What am I going to do with that? Like, why did they bring that child to me? They're like, what's going on? Um, and even if that adult person wears the energy mask of the child, not by volition, or of an infant even, not by volition, they, the person is not, the person is attracted to that child, but it seems like the person that is the adult self is not letting anything be there, even though that child is not them. Okay, but because they try to, it's kind of like personality cult, but they try to make them the child of that occultist that is in a personality cult, then then they see it, and even if someone begins to respond to that, they stop it. They block the interaction. And but it's important to say that this whole thing is happening as almost to show what is the thing that's behind the acts of pedophilia and why it's so important not to normalize them, but also to understand the intricacies so that we can tackle the mind control. This is why I received this energy reading, because I tend to the mind control aspects and to the astral aspects. And for other people, it was showing them that it's only about them. How should I say it? If they don't honor sexual sovereignty, they cannot find people that are attracted to them because they sway away from where is where attraction is. Okay, it's kind of like if you think about the unrequited love, it's kind of like getting stuck on someone that's not into you. But with sexuality, if they are violating boundaries of people, then they don't get to meet sexuality that is actually willing consent. Okay? Just like the person who is still going through a process, let's say if it's unrequited love, then the person is still going through a process to say, okay, what did I find in that person? What do I look for in a partner? If that person would return love to me, how, am I able to receive love? Like all these things, but with sexual sovereignty is even more inherent, because if somebody is rapey towards another, they're basically preventing willing consent sex. And I think that it can be like a coping mechanism, because usually people that are rapey, yes, were raped as well. And it can be that they are rapey because they don't know how to deal, because they are afraid to be raped. And that gives them a sense of control to be the rapist. And so they find it difficult to tap into vulnerability that is a part of willing consent and actual sex is not rape. And so those are the many things and intricacies that came out of this type of energy. Now, I really see it connecting to Beta per se, although nothing is pinpointing Beta per se right now. Um, because Beta per se is about the people that were raped and not believed, and then when they spoke up were murdered, and there was something about the hair. And I had to brush my hair two consecutive days, where that was like an imperative that on an energy level. Um, and then the people that tend to the LGBTQ without the P, they need to understand that without sexual sovereignty, without honoring the no, they can't a yes. And if the people run away from rape, they're not running to try to have sex with them. They're running to place was not rape. And they have to secure that so that they can be free. Plenty of Sagittarius. Okay, if there is rape, is not freedom. To not have rape precedes any type of thing, because rape harms the connection to one's own self, sense of self, and thus identity, and of course sexual identity. So one cannot have the freedom to be who they are when they are affiliated with or partake in rapey societies or rapey practices, or benefit from human trafficking, okay? If it's real estate or something, or businesses or something like that. if they're affiliated with the 2030 agenda, then of course, if they must remove all rapey things from that agenda, or they will not be free. Okay. For some people, challenging topic. People that went through even difficult times. Um, Certain people may feel very accentuated the desire to live. Okay, because it's about killing the rapists, not committing suicide because of rape. Yes, that's the energy reading for today.